Factoring applications lesson 3. So this is the one that's a little bit tricky. You need to focus on the form. What I mean by form is you have to understand a couple key things. We're still factoring a trinomial, but we're going to throw in functions in there. We're going to throw in binomials in there. But as long as they hold a 2-to-1 ratio of exponents, it still can be factored normally. Okay, so we'll get to that. Okay, so in previous lessons we did those two. We've already talked about that. So inspection versus decomp. Okay, in this lesson we're going to extend the process in which the variable is replaced by a function of x. Okay, so this is kind of the thing we got to underline. If this is kind of just a highlighter section, you could say. Okay, so what I want to focus on is in the trinomial x squared plus bx plus c, the degrees of the terms are 2, 1, and 0 there. Okay, 2, 1, and 0. What does that mean? That's talking about these guys here, 2, 1, and this is a 0. A 0, because anything to 0 power is 1, and so that signifies it like an x to the 0. So just to show you what I mean, if I did x squared plus 3x plus 4x to the 0, it's the same thing as plus 4, but just showing you that it has a degree of 0. So constants have a degree of 0. And so see, it holds that pattern 2, 1, 0. Okay, so it's double the middle. Okay? In all cases, we make a substitution results in the trinomial with a term 2, 1, and 0. So now look, the following has x4, 5x squared plus 6. So this is 4, 2, 0. Does that hold the same pattern? Yes, because it's double. And so what they want you to do, and this is what they're saying right here, if you're not understanding, I know this is very confusing in the sense of it's raising exponents on you, okay? But they want you to write it in the in the form x squared, 1, and 0. So to do that with this one, well, if it's x to the 4th, that squared is x squared, right? So that's where the 4 comes from. This one right here, 5x squared, well, we just want 5 times x squared, because normally we want that's a 1, that's a 2, and then that's a 0 again. So that's holding the form for you. The reason that's helpful because now it's easier to factor it. Because if this is an x squared, this is normally a what? What's it normally? Just an x, right? But it's not. It's an x squared now. So instead of doing this, we have to do x squareds. That's what that tells you. I have to do x squareds now. Yeah, if we want to talk about this one, it'd be x squared plus 3, x squared plus 2. And so what they kind of explain, and I don't think you need to do this A part. You can if it helps you organize. But what they're saying is, so here's what it looks like, right? Just factor with A. Well, if you factor with A, you're going to get A plus 2, A plus 3. You can do that no problem. That's the easier factoring. But then what's A equal? A is the x squared. So you plug the x squareds in now. Okay, so it's raising the level of the exponents. Okay. So I know we threw a lot at you, so let's just talk about what I said. 1, identify the pattern. Is it in a 2-to-1 ratio? Yes. Write it in x squared, degree 1, degree 0 form. X squared squared for 4, x squared 1 for 2, 0 just stays the same there for 6. And then you can sub. I don't think you need to sub, but if you want, you can sub an A for those x squareds, so you can see to factor just a little bit easier. Just factor that guy. Now that you have that guy factored, you can put x squared in for A. And then you're done. Okay? All right, so that's the very beginning. So we're going to do some examples, so just don't panic yet. So factor completely. So first step, is it in the pattern we want? Yes, 4 to 2 is 2 to 1. So now it's the same setup we just did, so we know it's going to be A squared squared. It's going to be minus 5A squared 1 minus 14. That's a square there. It's not very good. Okay. And so now I know the factors. I can just, I mean, really, guys, right here, if you want, I'll do a substitution once. I don't like it, but if you like it, it's fine. So now factor that. A minus 7, A plus 2. And now we just put the A squared in for A. That's factored. Okay. Okay, go ahead and try B. See if you can do B. Right. Just go ahead and try B here. I'll pause the video. Do you even have to really write in this form? You actually really don't if you're really good at understanding your patterns. Like what I kind of did was originally I go, okay, 4, 2, it's in the form. I know I'm going to start with an x squared, but let's just think about what the factors are going to be. Negative 5 to 4. Well, negative 5 to 4 would be what? Okay, yeah, 5 and negative 1. So I know it's going to be plus 5 and minus 1. Well, what's this one? It has to be the x squared. Why? Well, because I know that this, whatever this term is, was right there. Just like when we do this normal factoring, right? That's always there, right? That's why we have an x here. Okay? All right, so that's done. C. Now we have a 6. Don't sweat it. It's fine. 14 to get you 9. So I know it's minus 7 minus 2. Whoops, not big enough room there. Yep, so I know x cubed is going here. Yeah, and we can do that too. Here, I'll stay. Again, there's a lot of ways to do this. I'm not telling you the ways. I'm trying to help you recognize the patterns. Okay, because look, x cubed times x cubed is x6. Good. X squared times x squared is x4. Good. These are the front, so that's my middles are going to be x squared, so they are. X cubed, they are. But anyway, so let's do it the way that they're showing you too. So we have x squared squared plus 4 times x squared, and then minus 5. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to keep doing the a every time. I think it's a little bit excessive. But this right here, you can see is going to be the x squared plus 5, the x squared minus 1. Okay, if we want to do this one in the form like we were showing earlier, so this is, we got these a little faster here, so a little bit more explanation. It's going to be x cubed squared minus 9 times x cubed, the 1, and then plus 14. And that factors back to there as well. Thank you. Okay. Any questions on that? This is definitely something that with practice you're going to get better with. If you're just kind of seeing it, you just keep doing it, you're going to get it, you're going to unwrap it, you're going to figure it out. Okay? So, let's look at these now. So it says factoring where f of x is a monomial. So now it's making it a little bit more difficult where it's saying that it's not as simple. Okay? So let's see here. I'm actually going to go right to it here, okay? So we can kind of skip these for a second. We're going to go right to the example. So if I factor completely, what's different? Well, it's in the 4-2 mode, right? But let's ignore that for a second, and let's work on breaking it up, because we do have a 4 in front, and I can't GCF. So we do need to go this still, okay? And I do see it's -8 and 3. Okay, so before, if you're saying, when do I do this? Well, you try a GCF, and you make sure it's in a 4-2 or 2-to-1 ratio, and then you can go ahead and start doing decomposition. Remember, this is called decomposition from yesterday. Okay, so here we go. 4x4 minus 8x squared minus plus 3x minus 6. And now we factor by grouping. I actually think this is a little bit easier because, oh, that's a 3x squared. The 3x squared, because you kind of GCF here, it kind of gives you the answer. So you don't have to worry about as much of the stuff we did previously. Because, like, what do these have in common? 4 and x2, right? So we're taking out 4x squared. And so that gets me x squared minus 2. These have a 3 in common. That gives me x squared minus 2. So that's essentially going to be 4x squared plus 3 x squared minus 2. You can always check, right? At least make sure your ends are good. 4x squared times x squared is 4x4. 3 times negative 2, that's negative 6. Feel pretty good. Okay, this one they throw 2 variables at you now. Oh, okay, so we got to go 2. Okay, so no GCF here. The 31's a give. Oh, bless you. The 31's a giveaway because there's no, that's prime. So 2 times 99, 198. So now I got to think about factors of 198. That gets me negative 31. They're both going to be negative, right? Hmm? 9 and 22, good. So now we just break up and go from there. 2a squared b squared minus 22ab minus 9ab plus 99. Now we group GCF. 2ab out of the first one. That gives me ab minus 11. Then we take a negative 9 out of the second one. That gives me ab minus 11. And so we're happy, we're done. 2ab minus 9 times ab minus 11. Okay, any questions here? This section, the previous section, the number in front's not 1. Number in front was 1 for the first section, now it's not. Okay, so this was the decomposition section of these, and the one before was the inspection section, in terms of how they label those process, okay? Okay, we got one more for this page, and then we just have one more page after that. Okay, factor completely the expression 8x4 plus 10x squared minus 3. Okay, why don't you guys just give this one a shot, see if you can do it. All the way, I'm going to say all the way. See if you understand what that means. All right, so put the answer first, and then we'll just see how you guys did. This is the fully factored answer. Okay, that's a fully factored answer. Whoa. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, it's in the form we want. Yep, 4 to 2, so it's in 2 to 1. Okay, let's go. Let's see what happened. Negative 24. So negative 24, that means I want 12 and 2. And I want a positive 12, negative 2 for my breakdown. What's that? Did you say I lost you? Oh, say, uh-oh, that's step 1. Okay, break this up. Let's put the, doesn't really matter, I'll put the 12 with the 8. Okay, so 4x squared comes out, so that gives me 2x squared plus 3. Take the negative 1 out. Okay, good. So then, you guys just then factor it one more step. Okay, so that's it. This is a difference of squares. That's all the way. That's right. Got to go all the way, I said. I gave you a hint. Got to go all. Yeah. Yeah. Difference of squares right there, right? So 4 is a perfect square, 1's a perfect square, and it's a minus, so it's a difference of squares. So obviously 2x minus 1, 2x plus 1 comes from this here. So this factored further. Okay. All right. Ooh. We're throwing in the sine and cosines for you trig lovers. So this is just doing this. Obviously, we're not really doing anything with sine or cosine. This is strictly making sure you just know your steps. Okay, this is no different than putting like 10 variables on it for fun. Okay, so is this in the form? Yes, sine squared assigned to the 1. So it's 2 to 1 ratio. So don't worry about anything other than just do the math. 6 times 2, 12. Factors of 2, that gets you -7. -4, -3. So then how do you write it? You write it like this. 6 sine squared x minus 4 sine x minus 3 sine x plus 2. This could be something maybe you hate writing the sine. You can make sine be a if you want. Okay, so it's nothing different than we've been doing. The math's the same. Now we GCF. 2 sine x comes out. Okay, take out -1. Oh, I took out a sine x, sorry. Okay, so those match. And we're good. That's as far as you can go. Okay. Go ahead and I'll pause it again. You guys try B. Okay, so 4 times -3, -12. So we want 12 and -1. So I'll do the substitution way if you want to see it. I'm just going to write 4a squared plus 12a minus a minus 3. I just subbed out cosine. I put a for cosine. So 4a comes out. That gives me a plus 3. A -1 comes out. A plus 3. So that's it. And so now you can just put the cosines back in for the a's. Okay? That's all with that one. Okay, so now we're going to finish with making that f of x piece. This right here is now going to be a binomial. So it's going to be 2 terms in there. Okay, it's going to be a little bit uglier. So the simplifying is a little bit more work here. But the important piece here, this is actually the one that I will tell you I suggest to use substitution. Okay, because you can use substitution for all of them. I just think sometimes you don't really need to. It's not as necessary. But here it's helpful because this gets messy fast. Because you have a binomial in here, so trying to figure out what it is. So I would suggest whenever you see a binomial to immediately just write it like this. Okay, we'll do the other one too. And then now we just factor from there. Okay, just ignore the binomial for a little bit and factor that. No, it can be a B, or you can make any letter you want. Yeah. -21. Subbing to x minus 3. So a equals x minus 3. I suggest substitution is best for binomials. Okay, if you're good at being organized, you can write x minus 3. That's fine. Okay, -21. Factors -21 that get you -4 is -7, +3. So we have 7a squared minus 7a plus 3a minus 3. 7a comes out. A minus 1. 3 comes out. A minus 1. And now we can push these together. I'll stop for a second. Okay. And at this point, we put the x minus 3 back in. And we have a little bit more simplifying to do, so you're not done. look what it looks like. You'll see what I'm talking about. 7 times x minus 3, right? I have to do that. And then plus 3. I need to simplify this. And then I have x minus 3 plus 3. I need to simplify that. Combine my like terms. Okay. So you don't have, you can, but there's no multiplication or anything happening, so it's just going to stay that way. Oh yes, thank you. Why did I put plus 3? Sorry, yeah, it's minus 1. Lucas is right. Okay. Oh yeah, because right there. Yeah. Okay, so this one, 7x minus 21, and then plus 3. Negative 21 plus 3 is negative 18, and now you're done with that one. X minus 3 minus 1 is x minus 4. That's your complete answer. Okay. Okay, this one, negative 90. Well, it's 1 apart. Well, that's 9 and 10. It's just going to be a positive 10 and a negative 9. So found my factors, broke up the middle. Let's pull a 9a out. Pull a 10 out. They match, we're happy. And I will wait for you after this here. So everybody's caught up so that we can put the a back in. Okay, so I put the a back in. It's going to be a plus 4, so 9 times a plus 4 plus 10. 9, nope, no 9. A plus 4 minus 1. You can put the bracket there if you want to, but you'll see that doesn't do anything. So the first one, 9 times a, 9a. 9 times 4, 36. And now plus the 10 for 46. A plus 4 minus 1 is a plus 3. And that's it. Okay, that's it for the video. Any questions?